Whoops. There we go. More chess game review time. It's pretty interesting here. I've won my last two games. Um, Been quite exciting. I'm playing my next 1,000 player, and hopefully I can win this time. Luckily, he's playing a opening that I'm fairly familiar with, so we'll see how that one goes. Excuse me. Beat these last two guys. I'm getting very close to 1,000. Um, in this one, I go first. I'm playing as white. Start with the king's pawn opening. And this is the Pyrrhic defense, or the Pyrrhic defense. And I saw this and I was like, man, I should try and look this one up, see what the idea is. I like one of the cool things about this is getting to experience different openings and see what they're all about, and what the ideas are behind them. Now, obviously, there's a fine line between looking up an opening and reading about it, listening what it's about, and listening to videos on what it's about, and actually going to the engine and learning, which is technically cheating. So we don't want to do that. So gotta be careful here. So he made this move, I was like, the Pyrrhic defense. Okay, well, I'm gonna take a little break here and just go study up on the Pyrrhic defense and just see what we can learn about it. And so it's just cool to be able to like study some of this stuff. Pyrrhic defense is actually pretty straightforward. Move from black. It is a defense. The idea is that black is waiting for white to come to him. Black is also preparing for counterattack on white. He's allowing white to get a lot of center control in order to get a strong defensive position that allows him to counterattack, usually on the queen side of the board. But anyways, so the Pyrrhic defense starts with with d6. White will typically, now which is what I did, grab more center control with d4. And then now black attacks here. Now there could be this, and then, but the problem here is black will trade off queens immediately, and now I can no longer castle. So that's one of the problems with that move. Instead, what I do is I just defend the pawn with the knight. I just go knight to c3, defend the pawn, and he's going to come out here with g6, preparing to fianchetto. Now, when he fianchettos this bishop is something that when you're playing against the Pyrrhic defense as white, you got to be really careful for. You got to be on guard for this one. I go for, it seems to me, based on what I learned, the best idea, the most aggressive idea, is to go for what's the Austrian attack. Preparing to attack the center here, essentially, but it's also fairly maneuverable. You can push that up and be more defensive in your moves. You can also push this up and try to see if you can break up the castle structure here, while also potentially going here with the bishop and threatening this bishop right there when he's sitting on this diagonal, and then eventually get your queen right there on h6. And then you can bring your knight here, and black's in a lot of trouble at that point with the queen right here, uncontestable, and a knight as well, not very contestable. So that's kind of the idea. He's going for the fianchetto. We're going to bring the knight out. Again, one of my plans here, once you learn the opening, you can kind of start thinking about, like the way I learn openings these days is I actually go like the Pyrrhic defense. Okay, let's learn about the Pyrrhic defense, but I want to learn about the Pyrrhic defense from black's point of view, because the Pyrrhic defense is about black and what black's ideas are. It's essentially what it is. And so I'm going to learn how to play as black, and the more I know that, the more I know how black is thinking and how to counterattack black. So that's kind of the idea here. So he castles. I expected this. I'm going to go bishop to e3 and then prepare for queen to d2, potentially castling. When he saw me make this move, I think he was thinking that it's time to start moving and preparing to go for the queenside attack. But as you can see, this guy is, he's fairly, I think he's pretty new to this opening. I'm new to it as well, but the thing with a lot of these things is a lot of theory involved, and you can't just be diddling about with your pieces. Every single move has to have a purpose to it, and you got to be thinking about what your opponent wants. I mean, that's how you, if you really ever expect to win chess, you've got to be thinking about that stuff. And I think a lot of the guys I've been playing against lately just aren't thinking about that. Whenever I lost, I wasn't thinking enough about what my opponent wanted. So I went queen to d2, and I think this gave off the illusion to him or the impression to him that I was going to castle on the queen side. And so I think he was getting ready to move some pieces over to the queen side and prepare an attack over there. And that's what I think he started this. Of all the ideas I was thinking about here after this move, I was thinking, okay, so this is going to be difficult because when he goes, when he goes knight to d7, I know, like in my head, I'm like, okay, he's preparing to go and launch his assault on the center, supported by the bishop. Once this knight moves, the bishop is going to be center, like looking down this diagonal. It's a hidden attack, this bishop in the Pyrrhic defense. That's one of the keys to the Pyrrhic defense, is it's a hidden attack. If we push here and we take right here, right, for instance, and then he takes back, we take right there, and the knight can take if he wants, give that up. But then now you can go here, you can maneuver knight to g4, and then attack this bishop right there. And that can be a bit of a problem for white. I kind of like my bishop here. It's going to be really important to me in the game. Again, the idea is I want to go bishop here and give up the bishop so that I can get my queen right there on h6, and then eventually go knight to g6, no, g5, sorry, and then with my queen here, hopefully we can mate him. Of course, we'd have to get rid of this knight first, and that's one of the things I'm thinking about. So at this point in the game, I'm already kind of coming up with a plan of what I want to do and how I want to go about this. And what I've noticed here, though, in this situation, again, I didn't have the evaluation bars I have right now, but I got the sense that, okay, this may not go exactly the way I want it to. I may not get a quick checkmate, but you know what? I'm still winning here. I've got more control of the center. Any attack he launches, he's going to end up with less material than me. It's not going to look well, because it's not going to go well for him ultimately at the end. So I was like, I think I'm all right. But this move here, I was not, of all the moves that I thought he was going to make, this was the least one that I was expecting him to do. I don't understand what was going on with this one at all. This does a couple of different things that are really problematic here for black. First of all, it undevelops a knight, and now I can just kind of go, let's see, the game tells me to castle, which is one of the things I eventually do. I don't do it immediately just yet, I don't think. Yeah, I go for the attack first. And the idea behind the attack that I have here is I want to just eventually settle a pawn right here on e5 to completely discourage any of the knights coming back here to guard h7. That's the idea. But so that's the idea. But the other thing too, before we move on, is this knight here blocks the connection between this queen and the rook here, which means this queen is actually unguarded right now. Every single piece here is currently guarded except for the queen. And it's easy to think to yourself, well, my queen is way back there. She's just hidden behind all the pieces, and she's fine, and just not even think about it. But as you're gonna see, that center is gonna bust open really quickly. When I saw this move, I was like, oh, you know what? I think I'm okay here. I may not need a castle immediately. So the idea here, I was gonna go here. He's gonna take back. I'm gonna take back. And then what he's going to do is he's going to attack here with f6. After that he does that, I'm going to castle. I'm going to have a rook here lined up right here. And then I can maybe prepare for queen here. So, again, I'm going to line up right here. So just once. The idea here is to go here. When he takes, we take back. I was thinking, okay, he's going to go here. At this point, we're not going to take back. We're just going to castle. So that when he takes back, then we can take back, and that would discourage him from taking this and realize, oh crap, I can't move my knight because my queen is hanging. And then he's going to have to delay time to try to deal with this problem with something else. You just take, if you just take with the bishop, I'm going to take back, and that's just bad news for black right there. Really, really bad news. It's not good at all. You got check coming here. And I mean, that's going to win a pawn. There's a lot of problems happening for black. Not to mention now there's this, and it's really, really bad for black. So that was the idea. And then eventually I was going to bring my queen over here and then go queen this way, and then maybe deal with that pawn. So I was like, you know what, I can afford to let a pawn fall for a little bit, and just castle. And that way, when I move my queen over here, now the rook is keeping the knight pinned. So that was the idea. So that was the plan. And boy, did it work like a charm. It went exactly the way I intended it to go, way better than I intended it to go, because he actually just gave up his queen right there. I didn't think, I just, there was a part of me that had the feeling, because he was making these moves, he's doing everything I thought he was going to do. And I'm like, surely he's not going to take that with his knight. Surely he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. No way. No way. And I think he was just thinking, oh, well, I'll take back right there because he won't do this because now he's going to lose this, and that's going to be bad for him. And then, but he did. He took it. And I went, oh, wow, there you go. And I think he just was like stunned. I couldn't believe it. Like, what the heck? What? How did that happen? Yeah, because you moved your knight right here and you blocked your queen from being protected. Look how quickly that center just opened up. Watch this again. Just look at this. You go knight here, boom, 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 and look at that. Just opened up really like that fast. And I was like, well, but now I don't need to go through with this. I got it. But it was crazy when I played this because I'm like, this guy's playing the Pyrrhic defense. He's doing everything what you're supposed to do, and boy, like I was sitting here looking at this preparing for queen to d2, and I thought, should I go queen to d2? Maybe I need to go h3 first, buy some time to keep this, discourage that from going and attacking this bishop. Maybe I need to do something like that. But if I do that, I'm also risking just allowing him to set up his position even more. Maybe I just need to go for the attack, whatever. Man, I just gotta do something. But I was like, you know what? It just seems better. A better option is just to go queen to d2 and just see if we can do some play over here on the king side. We got some opportunities here, got some potential. We can get this bishop into the game eventually. We can maybe go for a check eventually. We can do stuff like that. So that was the plan. But again, I was just sitting there going, man, this is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a tough fight here, trying to break through that Pyrrhic defense. Because I was looking at all the data on this thing. Black usually wins in the Pyrrhic defense. So I'm like, man, this is going to be a tough fight. I might lose this one. And nope, I beat him in 12 moves. So there's that game. All right, so now for this one, I'm playing as black here, playing against a guy who's almost a level 1000 as well. That was my first time going against the Pyrrhic defense, and I beat it. This is my first time going against the English opening, and guess what? I beat it too. So we're gonna go here. I didn't know how to play the English. I'm just like, seems knight, to f6 seems natural. We're just gonna maybe encourage this eventually. He wants to fianchetto. And what I'm going to do here is actually the idea, now remember, the idea was to actually break open the center here immediately. And so now he goes for the fianchetto. He knows he's not going to take back because if he takes back, I just take back with the queen, which actually was not a bad idea, to be honest with you, because, no, actually it is. It's actually a terrible idea because at this point, you don't want to do that because now you lose a bishop and a rook. So he decides not to go for that, and he goes for the fianchetto. Fine, whatever. And what I decided to do here is, this is actually a book move. I didn't know it was a book move. What I've been learning in chess, as I've been playing chess, what I've been learning is learning positional play and just kind of understanding pieces and their potential strengths, their strengths and then their potential strengths. This knight here would be a problem for me if he is able to trade that off, which is what he kind of wants to do. And I decided, and before I let him do that, let's just go ahead and trade the knight off, and then bring out more pieces to work control the center. Now he's kind of, he's winning slightly, but we're going to be all right. Now we developed a knight here, and we're kind of discouraging stuff like this. So then we can take right there. And if he takes back, we just take back the knight, all is good. So that's the idea there. This move here, I'm not sure exactly what he was doing, but whatever. Now he develops his knight. He attacks right here. Now I'm thinking to myself at this point in the game, I'm like, I need to deal with this bishop here. This bishop's going to be a bit of a problem for me. It's pretty strong. I'm going to castle first. He brings out this bishop, and I kind of I got a little bit delayed here. Okay, I didn't really know what to do here, and what I ended up letting it, like, look at his king right there. His king is absolutely in a bunker right there. And I'm thinking to myself, how in the world am I going to do this? This is going to be wild. But the problem kind of solves itself. So, once again, just like the last game, he does this move. I'm not sure exactly what that's doing. Okay, whatever. Fine. I'm going from here because I think I'm preparing for this. I think that's what I'm preparing for. Now he goes for this. He attacks my rook. That's a pretty solid move. Not bad. I just move my rook out of the way. Problem solved right there. Now on my next move, he makes this move. This is not a good move at all, really. Now there's this potentially, and this blocks in the knights. And there you go. So that's one of the problems with that move. What I decided to do was, and I figured, I want to fight for the center here on d4. I'm going to do that. First, I'm going to get rid of this bishop. So first, I'm going to start with kicking the bishop. So I moved the bishop back. I was hoping he was going to go back right here so that I can just kind of keep my knight. But he goes back right here, and I decided to take that now and trade that off. Now, the game didn't like this because now there's this. This is forced right here, and then a rook right here. And then what was the other one? There's this right here. And I think there's knight right here. Now this is a problem here because if you take, then I take back right here, and now I'm attacking your rook, and it's bad news right there. So that wouldn't be good for black. But my idea was to the idea that I wanted was I'll remove this bishop here, and he's going to take back with his pawn. That's fine with me. The bishop's no longer in play in the center. And then I'll just go ahead and trade off here. And worked just like a charm. And I knew, too, by the way, I knew he was going to take this. And the idea was take that and then move my bishop to d5 to protect. He's probably hoping that I forgot about my rook here. I did not forget about the rook in the center and on a8 right there. Did not forget about his fianchetto bishop. And I went here. Now, the game didn't like this, but, I mean, what are you going to do, I guess, right? I basically, I just want to get rid of this. I was like, let's trade off these bishops. So that's what we do. We trade off the bishops. There was a line here, by the way. Was it? Okay. That was one line right there. But anyways, so we go for this, and I think he knows that this is coming, and it's going to be bad news for him. So he goes preemptively to move his rook. This is actually not a good move. The game called this a blunder because there's just this, which forces this, and then this, and now you're down material pretty significantly. And we approach an endgame where you have two rooks, but I got two rooks and a bishop, and not to mention 6 pawns, and you got 5 pawns left. So not good for white, but I missed it, and I went here instead. I went to d4, takes on d4. All right, but we're still winning. He decides to just go for it anyway and just take the pawn, and now I'm up 2 points. Fine, whatever, no big deal. I think we're still good here. So what we're going to do here at this point in the game, I still got to be really careful here because I can get checkmated right here in the back ranks if I'm not careful. So you'll see that in a moment. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to centralize the d8 rook because I had a feeling this was coming, and I was going to have to move the bishop. However, at the same time, there's actually a nice tactic right here that completely loses the game here for white, and that is actually to sacrifice the rook right here. You give up the rook so that when he takes, you go for check right there. And the only move for white is this, and in which case you can go ahead and take that and win the queen, and you're absolutely winning. It's just game over at that point. Of course, then you could screw everything up, and if I brought my rook back up here and then he goes for check, then I lose the game. But again, I would have to be really, really careful there. So that was actually a nice tactic, but I missed it. I did not see that. Instead, what I decided to do was preemptively move my rooks to d8 because I was anticipating this, so that then I could move my bishop out of the way just fine. But that didn't come, but I moved the bishop anyway. And there you go. So this move right here was odd for a moment. I was like, oh, wait a minute. And then I was like, oh, he's probably planning on going here. And so I thought, well, we'll wait to see what he does, okay? And what we're going to do here is maybe go here, boom, boom, and then hit the rook, potentially. That's kind of one of the ideas we have here. Just sort of stalling for time. I'm waiting for him to move. I want him to move. I got to be careful here. I don't want to do something like, like this. This is a really bad idea because now he takes, and it's that's really bad for us. We don't want that to happen. So we can't do that, and I knew that. So again, we got to be really careful here. And that's when I realized, oh, he's probably going to do that. Now here I thought, okay, gotta be. What should I do? What's the best place for me to go here? I could go here, but then he can just attack me right there. And then I can go here, and then he can just keep harassing my queen like this. And just keep doing this over and over and over again. And I can't do like c8, because like we just showed you, can't do that. So I just thought, you know what? Maybe the best option here is to try to force him to trade off the queens and see if we can just start attacking his pawns from that point. Because we'll be better off here at this point in the game. We already are. He's got 2 rooks, but we got 2 rooks and a dark square bishop. And them dark square bishops can be really tricky against rooks if you're not careful. Same thing with knights. So we try to go for the queen trade. He doesn't want it, so he's going to pull his queen back. Fine for us. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go d4 and threaten right here on f2. F2 is very weak, and if white's not careful, he can get in a lot of trouble. He does this move, and I'm thinking to myself, what's this? What's this move? Is he trying to, maybe he's trying to go for rook c2 and just force my queen into a very passive area where she's not doing a whole lot. Of course, I just go there and just reconvert right there, and back into the game. But I thought to myself, and I also thought to myself, that pawn right there is pretty juicy. But then, of course, again, I thought, well, there's this, that's going to force me to go back all the way this way, and it's pretty like I said, a passive queen, and that could be a problem for us. So, it's not a huge problem, not a big problem, but it's just annoying, and I didn't want that to be the case. So, and again, I was afraid that if I just preemptively went here, now I got 1 rook in the back ranks, and again, I can really easily get checkmated here if I'm not careful. So I ignored the pawn for now and just played it safe. I just played it safe. I got room, I got space to play it safe. White doesn't have that. He's got to make all the right moves. And we just went h5, just in case I needed an out. But then this happened, and I was like, oh, crap. Now, this means, like, this out doesn't matter. If we play the wrong move, like, bishop here, ouchies and ouchies. That's going to be really, really bad. That's checkmate right there. So we got to be really careful because of this move. The only move that I saw was possible. It says there's other ones here, by the way. Oh yeah, you see, I could have blocked this if I wanted to. That was an option. That's something we can do. And then we can also prepare for this and just kick the rook. But I just went with this. I just went with rook to f8. Very straightforward. Guards this pawn, this weak pawn right here, while at the same time I'm attacking these two. I just need him to make one big mistake. That's all I need him to do. Like in all my other games, I just need him to make one big mistake. And that's typically what a lot of these beginner players tend to do. They tend to just make one big old mistake. So I make this move and I'm thinking, okay, what's his next move? I mean, I don't really see a whole lot of good moves for him here. What's he going to do now? I mean, there's not a whole lot for him to do. He's really in a bad situation here. I'm putting a lot of pressure here on f2. And he makes this move, and I went, oh, wait a minute. There's a tactic here. And that was this. Now, the game didn't like this idea. It thought the better idea was to go queen first, or queen here. But I wanted to just win material, more material. And so I actually attacked with the bishop first. The idea was to take with the bishop. And wherever he goes right there. We just take that, and now we're just totally winning. Absolutely winning, and just pretty much just game over for white. Now, if he does this, it's the same thing. It's the same essential thing. You force this. he's going to take back, but again, we're completely winning. He's got only one rook versus two rooks and five pawns. He's got five pawns as well, but my next move was going to be right here. The game thought this was also a really good move. I just thought, but then there's this, I guess, and then there's this and that, and oh yeah, I mean, there is that. So that was an option. But I thought a more powerful move would be rook d4. I'm hitting two at the same time, and you can't guard both of them. So you can't save both of them, so one of them is going to fall, and take your pick. That was the idea. That was what I was going to go for. So I went for the move. King moves this way, and I take the rook, fully expecting his queen to take back and lose his queen to my rook. And that's not what happens at all. He just goes, oh, look, free bishop, and forgot that his queen was unguarded. And that was actually forced. You have to take that back. There's no choice. And he resigns right there because after that, it's just a forced mate. It's just game over. So there you go, 2 games. There was also another tactic here, by the way, I wanted to look at. I forgot what it was here. Let's see if I can remember. Just go back here a little bit. Boom, here. We go right here for various reasons. We move back right here. I think. Oh yeah. So I thought to myself, if he thought this was going to be a good idea right here, something like this. Oh well, my rook's guarded. Yeah, but then there's this, and you're completely losing. So that's one of the things that he had to be careful for, and he didn't do that. And one of the reasons, I don't think it was because he was being cautious. I think he did that because, based on the way he's playing, I think he did that just because. A lot of these guys, I watched a game earlier today, and this person was totally winning, but he felt like he had to just keep the pressure on, keep the pressure on, check, and overextending his pieces, and wound up in a bad situation and lost the game. I think that's what happens with a lot of these guys. It happened to me. Like, every game I lost was because I just felt like I got to keep the pressure. I have to keep the pressure going. And, there you go. And yeah, you just end up losing like that. Don't calm down a little bit. Just develop pieces, and just get things going, and chill out a little bit. And also think. Remember, like I said, I went rook d8 here, and the game thought that was an excellent move because I was anticipating moves. I was anticipating some moves that he was going to make here. That's why I did that move, and I think that confused him a little bit. But that's why you got to make these moves. A lot of these guys I've been playing against, they're just kind of doing one movers. I'm sure when I get farther up, like when I played medium Bill, I think he was thinking a couple moves ahead. That's why he resigned after he made that bad move. He knew what was coming, and he resigned. So he's definitely thinking a couple moves ahead. But that's really important, guys, to do that. But anyways, there you go. A couple chess games. All right. Bye-bye.